Hey, it is Kyle with Divas365.com, and I am here with an all-new exclusive and a new feature. We're going to start doing some pay-per-view rewinds. And since Payback is this Sunday, let's talk about Payback 2014. We had a lot of divas all over this pay-per-view. We had Lana being the valet for Rusev. We had Stephanie McMahon making Daniel Bryan, the then WWE World Heavyweight Champion, decide if he would vacate the championship or would his wife, WWE Diva Brie Bella, have to be fired. We also had a match for the WWE Divas Championship. Paige defending against Alicia Fox. So let's just jump right into it. Our first little bit of Divas actions for tonight was definitely a big dose. We had Lana. Lana at this point was in her first couple of months on the main roster as a manager. And she was the valet for Rusev. And Rusev was gaining momentum. This was all very early in their run on the main roster. And she cut a promo discussing how disgusting America was and how Vladimir Putin was the greatest thing since sliced bread. And they flashed a picture of Putin, the crowd. Of course, they boo. And she gets the crowd in motion. Now, looking back almost a year ago, you can see how much Lana has grown since this promo. I mean, her facial expressions have gotten a lot more sharper. The intensity has gotten tighter. And also, she's wearing different kinds of pantsuits. So that is a cool new feature about Lana. Lana in this role is just perfect. I mean, this is our only frame of reference for her as the diva. And she knocks it out of the park. I mean, what can you say about her being a valet? I mean, during the match, they keep panning the camera to her. Her facial expressions, her reacting to the moves in the match. Lana is as important as the action in the ring, and it's important. And at that time, they really were emphasizing that whenever Rusev would go for his finishing maneuver, the accolade, or more people call it the camel clutch, it was signaled from Rusev looking at Lana, saying the Rusev crush kind of thing. And it was an interesting combination of ways they would integrate her. She got in Big E's face, that was Rusev's opponent, and really got involved in the match. I think that this was definitely a good showing for her, and she did fairly well in front of the Chicago crowd. Our second treat of WWE Divas is Stephanie McMahon telling Daniel Bryan to choose between his championships being vacated or his wife getting fired. Now, you know, putting it in perspective, Daniel Bryan was the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. He wins the title at WrestleMania. Everybody is extremely excited. And then he gets injured with a serious neck injury, but everything is put into question. So what does WWE do? They decided to write it into storyline, and they include his real life wife, and they'd been only married for maybe a month at that time, Brie Bella. And this will lead into some pretty cool stuff for Diva fans. But this segment, for me looking back, is just so kind of awkward and weird. I mean, Stephanie McMahon, of course, is the greatest performer on WWE television. And it's not even close. Her promo skills are top notch. Everything about her is perfect. The facials, the tone of her voice, the inflection, the levels, the build up to the big moments. Everything about performance, Stephanie McMahon, she just gets. She understands. She knows the little details that it takes to produce a really strong segment. And you get that here. And Brie Bella, you know, this was the start of their SummerSlam feud. So it was interesting, you know, the crowd popped when she called Stephanie a bitch. But this was a really cool thing. And I thought it was interesting that they had Brie Bella quit. For me, as somebody who wants equality between the sexes, but also someone who believes in, like, human decency, like, the fact that Daniel Bryan was just so conflicted didn't make sense to me. Like, in character, was he really conflicted about throwing his wife under the bus to keep the titles? You know, to me, that element of the segment just kind of, made me a little uncomfortable. I didn't really understand where they were going with that, but the slap heard around the world was impactful. Stephanie sold it like a champ, and we have that infamous moment where people think she's Peter Pan's, or was it the shadow, or was it the lights? Who knows? It's been a year ago, and who really cares? This was a good segment. Stephanie definitely can play the perfect heel, and no one can really come close to her. And Brie Bella, I think, had one of the moments of her career at Payback 2014, getting to be in the ring with not only the world champion, but also Stephanie McMahon, and also involved in a world championship angle. That's a huge push for a diva, you know. So I think Brie did pretty well here. And up next, it is Diva Championship time. Paige defends against Alicia Fox, and we get Alicia Fox walking to the ring, and this was an interesting time for Alicia Fox fans. You know, after years and years of, I guess, getting paid dust on the main roster, she gets this cool kind of like crazy gimmick where she loses it. Whether she wins or loses, it's chaos after the match. You know, her pushing the guard down or giving a stage hand, a wedgie, the soda being poured all over her, wearing JBL's hat, saying "I'm the queen," messing with little kids. I mean, it was a really good time because Alicia Fox was stealing the show each and every week, and it was nice to see a diva get focused. And it was really interesting to see that nobody could really top what Alicia Fox was doing at the time. So that's always cool. And, you know, the reason she got that push for the title, you know, she beat Paige in England, and that's how this match came about. Now, Paige at this time comes up from NXT. She's playing this character that I didn't really recognize from her NXT character. She's kind of a vanilla, white, bland baby face. And there's not a lot of depth to the character. There's not a lot of intricacies. It's just, I'm going to win a match, and I'm so surprised I won a match, you know. And I mean, Paige just said it herself that around this time, she had to pretend like she wasn't ready, but she knew she was. And those of us watching NXT, we knew Paige was ready. We knew Paige was going to own this moment. So the background heading into the story, a year later, it's still kind of, you know, this pay-per-view as a whole was pretty strong, but Divas-wise, you had good, you had great, and then you had, I mean, I think that the match was very good. I think that they definitely were trying new things, and some of the things that they tried played out. Something worth noting was that every time Paige would scream, a guy would hold up a sign saying "Stop screaming," which I thought was kind of funny. This match was just, it was good, but it wasn't anything to really write home about. You had some interesting kind of physical maneuvers. I mean, Paige pushing Alicia to the outside guard, and then Alicia throwing Paige off the steel steps was a pretty cool spot, as well as that interesting submission maneuver that Foxy was doing, which I wish she would do a little bit more often. That was a surprise watching back a year later, because I really forgot that Alicia Fox was doing submission maneuvers like that. I'm used to her just doing chin locks, you know, and that's not me being shady. One interesting part looking back at this match that I thought was interesting was there's a spot where Alicia kind of like hits Paige, but not really, and then they separate across the ring, and then Paige kind of like is standing up, and then the next time we look at her like a second later and they're still separated, Paige is selling something. Like, that was something that didn't make sense to me. Maybe I was missing the context of the match, but that was one of the intricacies that I was like, girl, really? But Paige wins this match with the PTO, the Paige tap out. And this Divas Championship match, I think it got about 6 or 7 minutes. I mean, in Diva time and in the way of the Diva world, that's a pretty decent amount of time for a pay-per-view match. We've been used to so little, so this, I mean, in comparison, it's pretty darn good. Alicia Fox definitely was playing with her character and trying to experiment, I think, a lot during this match. I think that Alicia Fox really, really, really tried to make this work. She tried to figure out how she could become this character, not only during the skits outside the match when it's over, but also during the match. And I think that she worked really hard and, quite frankly, deserves a lot of credit. One of the most underrated divas, of course, and one of the divas that I really, really think, you know, no pun intended, if you give her a chance, she delivered. And it's kind of a shame that Alicia Fox was given this awesome chance last year, and she delivered, and people were excited to see Alicia freak out, and then they kind of just dropped the ball, and she hasn't freaked out for so long. I love an Alicia meltdown. I think that they're great, and it's crash TV, but it's also not, like, completely unrealistic. I think that that's something cool and something that only she could do. You know, Alicia Fox is one of those competitors and one of those divas that, like, has the tools, but WWE doesn't know what to do with them, or they're not interested. But overall, this match was enough to sit through. Nothing crazy to write home about. I mean, my favorite thing was definitely Alicia Fox's new submission. Maybe she did it before, but that was the first time I had seen it. Going back, I feel the same way about a lot of the stuff of the pay-per-view. Lana's promo, I mean, usual business. Stephanie, usual business. Brie, you know, making improvements on the mic. And the Divas title match getting a decent amount of time, and it was a decent match. So overall, I guess that's a productive pay-per-view. Tell me what your thoughts about this pay-per-view was in the comments. Do you think that Paige and Alicia Fox should have had some more matches on pay-per-view? Do you think that Alicia Fox should have been the Divas champion? How do you feel about Lana as a manager? Do you think that she should have got more mic time? How did you feel about her role during matches? Also, Stephanie McMahon. Do you think she's a good authority figure to play on TV or not? I want to hear all of your thoughts and opinions about Payback 2014. You can give me a comment here on YouTube. Don't forget to like us and subscribe to Divas365. Make sure you check out the website, divas365.com. And you can follow me on Twitter at Kyle Chiari, KYLEKIAREE. And last but not least, make sure that you check out my next video where I talk about Payback 2013, which features AJ Lee versus Caitlyn for the WWE Divas Championship. I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.